Hello guys, welcome to the stream. Just going to do a quick audio test here once it comes up. But yeah, here we are at the gate here in London, Stansted. At stand 4, the cargo area. Let me just check a minute. Hello guys, welcome to the stream. Cool, audio's working good. Perfect, let's get on with the stream. So we're here in London Stansted with this lovely 757 freighter. The new, it's version 2.5.2 here on the flight FAT 757. I updated it this morning. Had to restart the sim 3 times because of it. Started it, needed an update. Crossed it off, started it again. I need to reactivate the aircraft after the update. Crossed it off, started it again, and we're good. So there we go. We're here, ready to go. I had everything all pre-ready, so luckily we're doing okay. So here we are, ready to go down to Vienna. So, just adjust the altitude, because in this thing it does actually matter when you do it. What's the altitude of Stansted Airport? I think it's about 200 feet. I'll just check. It should say it somewhere. Or maybe not. I'm surprised if it doesn't say. There we go, 350. So we'll adjust that. 350, there we go. Cool. Let's go ahead and get the plane fired up. So battery on. And then bring the tablet up. And we'll kind of just configure everything. Everything should all be ready to go, which it is. So that can go into auto. And then external power on and bus size over to auto. And you can see the plane will now all start itself up. Everything's all ready to go on this tablet here, so we should be pretty good to go. And yaw damper on. These can go into nav, and we'll align those. I like to flip those into USB. Armed. Turn that off. Window heats can come on, and these can go to auto. And then we'll leave the rest of it for now. We'll do the rest of it a bit later. We can get the position light on as well. And we'll head to make sure the settings are all set up, which they are. Cool, position in it. And let's get on with this. So, one thing I do actually need to do that I haven't done, I need to get the documents up for this aircraft that basically say takeoff speeds. So I thought I had them on my desktop. I guess not. So I'm going to quick look. Can't find them in my documents folder. Where did I put them? I have a big folder of... There you go, flight documents. There we go, we've got them. So I've got them up here. So we'll use that later on when doing our takeoff speeds. So, back to this. We are here on the ground in Stansted, which is EGSS, and I have the parking stand coordinates up here. Stand number 4 today. So we are north 51, 53.2, east 000, 15.1. So pop that in there. And that will start aligning. And we'll go up. Actually, no, we'll just leave it. I only need to know how long we're going to take to align once we've done everything else. And make sure the clock's on hold mode. Cool. There you go. Everything's ready to go for that. So, EGSS. And we're going down to Vienna. And it is... I don't need to enter the flight number. So we're departing on runway 04. You know what, before we do anything, let's just get the weights done for today's flight. It's easier if we do those first. So, for fuel, we need 11,072 kilograms. Pop that in there. And we're looking for, today, a gross... we're doing zero fuel weight? Yeah, zero fuel weight of 78.5. So... go, say, 10 pallets, 12 pallets, and then 5,000 of cargo. That comes to 79.1 when you say a bit out then, so 4,400. 78.5. Perfect. You know what? Let's go 43.50 just so it's in the middle of 78.5. There we go. And that is basically exact. You know what? Let's just make it even more exact. Now our zero fuel weight. Oh, no. 4344. There we go. 78.542. Our zero fuel weight is now exact what we want it to be. So optimize CEG and do some maintenance. And then we'll go ahead and load. Oh, we need fuel. Need the fuel truck. And we need to open the doors. Load. So there we go. The plane's now going to get on with its loading. So that can be done now. Runway 04. It's the Klaxon 4 Sierra today we're taking. And then onto the route M84 to Conan. Then it's going to be UL607 to Kilo Oscar Kilo. Enter that in there. And then from there, it's going to be direct to Matug. Maybe we should have been flying out of Gatwick today. There's some ATC down there. Oh well. Then it's direct to Amasi. Then Bombay. A lot of directs I've been noticing lately. I've been doing a lot of flights with virtual Ryanair lately. Not on Vatsim. And loads of directs in the routes. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's the new Airax or something, but yeah. And then to Venin, and that's it. So lots of directs again on today's route. Activate, execute, and then the arrival then is going to be ILS runway 34 at the moment. We're planning with the Nerdu transition. So I'm guessing that's the NER 4 November, and it's going to be the Vienna 2 Whiskey. There we go. And that should be everything. I will just check a minute now. I think we might need a chart for the on-nav transition, because I'm getting up all the things in advance at the moment. Right, there you go. On-nav transition, yeah, it's the Nerdu 4 November on-nav transition that we're using after our star. So that's cool. All of it's basically done at 6,000 feet or above, which is fine. In fact, basically the whole arrival is just done at 6,000 feet or above. That's kind of weird. I don't really know why. I want to quick look through the arrival quickly. Yeah, so at Massa we need to be below 17,000 feet. So we'll enter that in. I'm just checking all of the stuff. You know what? I'm going to delete that for now, and I'm going to see what altitude the aircraft thinks we should be at that waypoint when I review it later. I know that restriction's in there. So, let's get on with the actual... Well, I don't know, the fuel is not finished yet. They're still unloading fuel at the moment. So we need to wait to do all of the other stuff. So we just need to wait at the moment. I think we're basically waiting on everything else. But we can put in the cruise altitude, which is 35,000 feet. Cruise wind is 43 at 17. IC deviation is +7. There we go. So we can put that in. Cost index is 35. I will just check with Fly UK. That's the same. Yeah, same for cargo as it's for passenger. So 35. Once we have the fuel on board, we'll know what our weight is. Although, has it actually finished everything else? Yep, plane is loaded. You see down there. So that means that all the weights on here are final. 78.5, which is correct. Gross weight is meant to be 89.3, 89.6, but obviously we'll burn a bit of fuel between here and the runway, so that kind of take that into account. Right, reserves 1.4, add 2.7, which I shouldn't need a calculator for. My maths. Right, 4.1. Yeah, obviously I should have known that. 4.1. Pop that in there. Obviously it's going to say insufficient fuel. Temperature select. So this is where we kind of have to do the stuff for departure. It's quite a long runway here in Stansted, right? Yeah, 10,000 feet here. And in terms of the outside weather, It's 19 degrees, so quite warm. Well, the temperature at the QNH here, 1029, so quite a high pressure as well. There we go. And so we'll do a temperature select of, like, I don't know, 35 degrees. It'll deviate a little bit, but not much. So let's go ahead and go on to the documents I have saved then. So the current gross weight of 89, we'll say 89.2, no, 89.3. So 300 kilos to pounds is 109. So we'll say we're using the 200,000 pound weight. So flaps 5, 200,000 pounds. It is 19 degrees and quite low. So we're category A. Category A here. So we're going to be looking at 5 category A, 135, 141, 148. So 135, 141, and 148. By the way, these V-speeds are taken from the manual of the 757, and I've screenshotted them and put them in a Word document for quick reference when flying the 75. So that's how I've got the V-speeds from. So, and it is in the manual that is easily accessible to anybody who uses this plane. So, I believe all we need to do now is wait for the IRS to align, which is why we'll put it onto... Oh, those need to go over to normal mode as well. What we'll do, we'll flick it over to heading mode. It tells us 1 minute left, so not very long is left on the alignment. Trim, air and reset fans can come on. I suppose we can start the APU, since we have enough time. Utility buses can come on, and we'll use that fuel pump there. And the APU is starting up now. All brakes will flick over to RTO. And what we'll do then, we'll kind of get rid of all the ground services. So, fuel truck can go. Just all this stuff. Apart from the chocks, we'll keep them. And we'll shut the doors. And we're ready to go. We're on Unicom as well. Flick it over to the weather mode. And make sure the weather radar is turned on. And then we just need to wait for the... Okay, the APU is started, so we can go over to APU power. So we're over to APU power, which this thing doesn't like for some reason. Doesn't like that we've done that, I don't know why. And all of the pumps can come on, and then we're going to have the isolation valve on the APU bleed. And that'll mean that we can... sufficiently, and we can have the packs over to auto in this aircraft on engine start, I believe. You don't have to have... Actually, no, we'll leave them off. It gives you more pressure, but you can still turn the engines on without the packs, I believe. Just gives you a bit less bleed air pressure. Right, everything is all ready to go. The aircraft is now fully powered up. Why is it saying spoilers in op? Shouldn't be saying. Oh, it's because the hydraulics aren't on yet. We'll do that. So hydraulics can come on, and then we'll go to better pushback and start pushback.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Why has this been reset to 10... Oh, I set the wrong one to 1029. That's why. So that needs to go back to 1013, because that is the... That's the standby one. I like to keep that on the standard altimeter so we can compare the altitude difference between the two. Okay, let's get ready to go. No one's approaching Stansted at the moment. It's just us on the ground here, so we're good. We're good and ready to go. Flight time station about an hour and 50 minutes. About an hour and 54 minutes we're estimating. So quite a long flight. Not that much of a headwind, so I don't know why it's so long. But anyway. And then we'll have a quick look at what the altitude is at Massa, so you can see it is going to make our descent a little bit earlier than planned, but we need to be below flight level 170 between 5:30 and 11:30 local time. So,
okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
So put that in there, and that's going to change some of the things on here. We need to be above 6,000 during pretty much the whole arrival. As you can see there, that's good, all ready to go. It's going to mean a bit of an early descent into Vienna, but that's fine. I will just check quickly Vienna Airport again. Have a quick look, and you can see, so they're using the 3-4 for departures and 2-9er for arrivals at the moment. No, 3-4 for arrivals and 2-9er for departures is what they're using.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
So you can see everything up here is all ready to go. I'm just going to quit, yeah, so they're still using 3-4 in Vienna. We'll keep an eye on that as we go, but for now, let's release the parking brakes and we can go.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
There we go. Oh, what was that? I think I left the chocks on. That was a bit stupid. Okay, maybe I didn't leave the chocks on. I don't know, maybe they got disconnected after a bit. Who knows? Anyway, let's go ahead and start the engines up then. Engine 2 over to ground. They should start a bit quicker than I'm used to, because usually I do it with the packs on. But I discovered you can do it with the packs off. It's probably better to do it with them off, to be honest. Right, and then introduce fuel on the right engine. They've redone some of these sounds, I think. It sounds like they've redone them. I'll have a look at what's the change log, because it has had an update since I last flew it, this plane. And also I just looked at Vatsim. It reminds me we need to fire up the radios. Right, flight directors can also come on both sides, and LNAV and VNAV. Right, now the other engine can come on. Yeah, definitely some new sounds going on here. I'm going to start the other engine. I actually quite like the new sounds. I'll have a quick look at what the changelog was, but I'm fairly confident there has been something new. So let's have a quick look. Oh, look at that sound that was there, gone now. 757 Professional, version
Operation
2.
complete. Set parking brake.
Parking brake's been set. So,
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
improved engine shutdown, GPWS logic, wind calculation. That might be good with the PIP FMC. That might have made the wind calculation on there better. Nothing about sound, though. Mostly it's all about some of the FPDS stuff, and who knows. They've obviously, I don't know, I think they sound a bit different. Anyway, engines are started up, they're into auto mode, packs can come on now. Most because I was doing the engine start with packs on off as well. And then APU bleed can come off. Over to engine power. That means we can turn off the APU. There's an FMC message just saying IRS nav only.
Bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Just noticed our flight is actually currently about 30 miles longer than SimBrief says it should be. And that could be because of the RNAV transition we're using, but I will have a quick look. It's a good idea to check it, make sure that it's all good. It is okay, I'm happy with that. That extra weird bit you see, that is the that's the go-around path, not our actual route, so that's fine. Alright, on your throttle, everything's all ready to go. Just set runway heading in here, 042. No ATC where we are, so let's get a move on, let's go. Parking brake has been released, and then we'll set the flaps to 5. And let's get going. And APU gen can come off. Are we quite heavy? This thing doesn't seem to want to move. There we go. Sometimes when the aircraft's very heavy, you just need a a blast of power to get it off the line, and then once you're moving, it's quite good. So heading down out the cargo apron, I'm going to go left on hotel, and then all the way down hotel to Kilo 1, I think we're going to go to. It's pretty much full length, just excluding the runway threshold. Because we're doing pretty much a full power takeoff today, so we don't need absolutely all of the runway. Shouldn't do anyway. Hope everyone is looking forward to this flight. I think it should be pretty good. I haven't flown the 7.5 in a little bit. I've been flying the MD-80 quite a bit. I haven't featured that on the channel yet, have I? So I think we might have to do that. I wanted to do it today, but the issue I've been having is like flying at night. Basically, if I want to do a morning stream, I have to fly, if it's real time, at night, which I don't really like doing. Especially in the MD-80, there's quite a lack of lighting, and for YouTube streaming, that's awful. It makes it really blocky and horrible. So, unless we just don't fly in real time, I suppose, we could do that. But I'm thinking it's probably something better for a video, one of the Fly UK flying episodes. I haven't done one of those for a while, so maybe I'll have to do that. Alright, everything's looking good up there. What's the fuel amounts looking like? Again, good. Plenty of fuel. Not quite as much fuel as Simbrief says we should have as our reserves, but hopefully that will sort itself out by the time we get up there to cruise. The reason we have so much reserve fuel though is because Simbrief has planned a stupid... It's done that weird thing that Simbrief does, and it's planned our alternate as somewhere in Croatia. No idea why. Because it's like a 50-minute flight from Vienna, so I'm not totally sure how Vatsim, or how Simbrief plans its alternate airports, but it's not actually that good at it. And then in terms of Vienna, no one's currently heading there. There's a plane currently in Heathrow, but it's taken off already. A plane in Tehran, but that is 1,700 miles from Vienna, and it's not taken off yet. So we'll probably have Vienna to ourselves pretty much by the time we actually get there. Obviously quite a long taxi. We'll just check actually. I haven't looked at restrictions on the departure yet. So we depart, go up to 4,000, then 5,000 at 16 DME Clacton, and then 6,000 at Clacton, and from Clacton then we're good to climb up to cruise. And transition altitude here is 6,000 feet. And you can see the plane's already got all that planned. And it should level off at 4,000 without me having to put 4,000 in there. I'll keep an eye on it. If it doesn't, I'll adjust that. I think they have changed the engine audio a little bit. I definitely changed it to the correct Rolls-Royce engine, so it's not that I've changed the engines types. Oh, let's turn the TCAS on now, so the people on the network can see us. That's useful. Okay, again, quite a long taxi here at Stansted Airport, if you're using runway 04, because of the location of the terminal. I have to go all the way. We're off blocks 10 minutes earlier though, so that's kind of nice. Right, this is Lima, off to the right. We're going off Kilo, so the next one along. So we've still got to keep up this taxi. Let's have a quick look outside at the plane. Look at that. It's a nice plane. I've been doing some nice landings in the 7.3, an average of about minus 250 FPM, which is pretty decent. I've kind of started to get better with landings, so hopefully I can do good in the 7.5 now. Again, I haven't flown the 7.5 for quite a while. I just really felt like flying it today. I wanted to fly it. One route I've been meaning to do for absolutely ages, I'll have to do it at some point when I'm available, is from Casablanca, I think it is, to Enfita. It's somewhere around that. It's Northern Africa. About a 2-hour flight. I really want to do that. Just something a bit different, but I haven't had the chance to do it yet because they don't operate it on a Saturday. Right, landing lights on. So let's get ready to go. Nobody is approaching Stansted, so we all good. We'll just check quickly. All brakes at RTO, flaps are set, landing lights are on. Let's go. Trim values I haven't set. I'm guessing. Actually, I never actually set trim values in this. I'm guessing it's automatic because there's no trim indicator anywhere. Oh, there is there actually, but it doesn't tell me what the trim value should be. So I don't know. I've never had a problem with it in this thing. Anyway. Right, let's get ready to depart. We'll put the throttles up to about 40%. And then we're good. Move the seat back a tiny bit. And start the clock, and let's go. Up we go. Airspeed live. There's 80 knots. Bye bye Stansted. V1, rotate, positive right, gear up, there we go. This plane always flies really nicely. It took a little bit of time to rotate there, maybe the V-speed was slightly wrong, I don't know. Again, I'm just doing quite basic V-speeds off a chart we're using. This plane always flies really well, I like it. Right, mate, a right turn out of Stansted now. Climbing up to 4,000 feet. And we'll go flaps 1. Gear is up and locked. All brakes are disarmed. Not much to do in this aircraft, I have to take off really. Oh cool, I haven't tried the Salty 747 yet. I haven't really played much Microsoft Flight Sim. I've mostly been on this. And there's 220 knots. Go flaps all the way up. I'm going to hand fly it to 4,000 to make sure that this thing will stay at 4,000 and not go above the restrictions. If it wants to climb above the restrictions, then I will and you can see it's starting to pitch down, so that implies to me that it is going to follow the 4,000 restrictions. We're going to enable the autopilot, and it is going to follow the 4,000 restriction, and there we go. And it will start to power back now because we're stuck here for a little bit. We're stuck here until 16 DME Clacton, so we're stuck here for about 10 miles or so. And then we'll be up to 5,000 for a little bit, and then 6,000 for a little bit, and then we can then finally climb. If we had ATC, they'd give us clearance all the way up, but we don't have ATC, so. Because recently, I think Vatsim's been very quiet, so there's not been much in the way of ATC. I mean, right now it's quite early morning, so I guess that's probably why. But it has been quieter than it has been previously, Vatsim. And we keep getting the insufficient fuel message. That's because of the high reserve fuel we have today. But weirdly as well, our route is actually 30 miles longer than SimBrief said it would be. So I don't quite know what's going on there. I think it's because we're using that RNAV transition. I'm probably going to shorten it a little bit, because at the moment we are going onto the airport a little bit too early. So I'm going to shorten it. You can do that with those kind of RNAV transitions. The way they work, that's how they're made, is so that you can just go direct and you can cut out some of the arrival, which is what they do in real life when there's not many planes about. It's almost like a VFR traffic pattern kind of thing. But I'll have a little look at that once we're at cruise. I'm not going to do it now. No point doing it just yet. Right, this next waypoint I believe is 16 DME Clacton. We're allowed to go up to 5,000 feet now. So the plane will do that. It takes a bit of time to start climbing actually. And since we're only climbing a few, we're only climbing a 1,000 feet, so it doesn't really make any difference. I'm going to bring up the weather for Vienna while I'm at it. 300 at 10 knots, broken at 2,200, and then a few at 3,000 kilonimbus clouds, 21 degrees, that's how you pronounce that sort of cloud, I'm not even sure, and the QNH is pretty normal. But yeah, clouds broken at 2,200, so it's cloudy down there, but not too bad. I noticed when I spawned in, when I was getting ready to start the flight sim, I was at Memmingen Airport yesterday with Ryanair in the sim, so that's where it wanted me to spawn in again, and it was foggy there, and obviously that's like southern Germany, so it could reach Austria. Wait, is this thing climb up to 6,000? Oh yeah, so this thing's climbing up to 6,000 now, and then we'll be stuck at 6,000 for a bit, and then we'll be allowed to go all the way up after that. I'm going to increase the range on that map now a touch, so you can see we're now stuck at 6,000 for the next kind of 15 miles, and then we're clear again. We're clear all the way up to 35,000 feet then. We get some good FPS on X-Plane lately as well. I haven't swapped it over to Vulcan, but I know it did have a performance update, X-Plane. I'm not sure. I don't know. It had an update, so maybe the update was somewhat performance related. I don't know for certain. Bit of a guess, really. This FMC is going to keep shouting at us about insufficient fuel, isn't it? Every waypoint. Hopefully it'll stop. Otherwise, I will just adjust the reserve fuel. It's a bit weird. We're burning more than we're supposed to be. I took the right amount of fuel, 11,072, and I took 11,072. So I took the right amount of fuel. So I don't know what's going on. I know SimBrief thinks that our route is a bit shorter than it actually is, so maybe it's something to do with that. But I'll wait and see. Once we get to cruise, I'll have a look at the route and adjust it. Because really, according to this, we should just be burning 5,900 kilos to get to Vienna, and then we have a bonus 800 as a contingency fuel. So we shouldn't be using any more than 6,700 kilos of fuel to get down there. Meaning we should be left with about 4,100, 4,200. Well, just past Clacton now, so that means we can start climbing all the way up. That's going to keep saying, oh, I guess suddenly, look, we passed that waypoint, and then all of a sudden our fuel went from 3.1 to 3.3, so it could be that this plane's fuel estimates are wrong, maybe. Maybe that's a bug in the latest update, I don't really know. Right, we're set standard pressure now. Quite a quick climb now, up to 10,000 this thing will do. And we're over the ocean, well not the ocean, the sea. Over the channel between England and France, although actually we're going to be going over Belgium. I don't think we go over France. Quite. We sort of, yeah, we don't go into French airspace, we're going to go over Belgian airspace. That's obviously going to still say insufficient fuel, although obviously it has got better since we last looked at it, so it could be a bug. Keep an eye on it through the flight. But it is going to tell us about insufficient fuel through the whole flight. Every waypoint we pass, it'll tell us. Right, up to 80 nautical mile range, you can see all our route on there then. There's 10,000 feet, and we can retract the landing lights. And I suppose we can turn off the seatbelt signs, because again, I say this every time I fly a cargo plane, but what do the seatbelt signs actually do? I don't know what they do. There's no passengers. I like watching the speed increase on that Mach speed indicator, which is like us getting faster. It's great. There we go. Up we climb then to 35,000. We're now fully sped up. It's quite loud actually now, this plane, or it's louder than the 737, I think is what it is. Which is what I've been flying a lot the last. I did like 5 flights the last few days I've done, so I've been busy. Right, we'll keep an eye on the fuel. You can see it's now saying 3.5, so it must be a bit of a bug at the moment with this plane, because you can see from our fuel it's getting better. The amount of fuel it thinks. It could be to do with how fast we're climbing, maybe, or I don't know. Obviously, something a bit weird's going on with the fuel calculations in this plane. It's no problem. It's good scenery. There is actually, this is the UK ahead of us, because we were turning out towards Belgium and then we started turning back towards the UK briefly to get us in line with Vienna, and then we're basically just going to turn left and head east the whole way to Vienna. That's the plan. I just hit my mic by mistake there. Alright, so you can see the fuel's now saying 3.6. So sooner or later, that fuel should actually just be above our reserve fuel. It must be a little bit of a bug or something going on. I don't know what exactly, but obviously something a bit unusual is going on with it. It now says 3.8, look, so every waypoint it's constantly updating. So by the time we get to Conan, maybe it'll actually be above our reserve fuel. So I don't quite know what's going on there, but it's fine. Past halfway to cruise altitude now. It's looking like Vienna's going to be quite busy by the time we get down there. Someone's spawned in Corfu, looking to go there. And someone's also on the ground in Frankfurt. So it is looking like it's a little bit busier. I do really like the 757. I don't fly it too often, although the fact that it can be used as a cargo aircraft with Fly UK does mean there's quite a good variety of routes to do with it out of London Stansted. Although Stansted's quite often an airport that I don't really want to fly into because it does have some pretty weird arrival procedures that cause you to basically, it's almost like a holding pattern, which causes the flights to last a little bit longer. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Also, compared with Gatwick and Heathrow, it doesn't get nearly as much ATC, so that's another reason for it. One of the main reasons, really. This plane currently is maxing out on power, look at that. Obviously it will probably throttle back once we're at cruise. Speed's increasing all the time. No, I'm at Mach decimal at 7. Okay, it's actually now raining a little bit in Vienna. I've just had a little look at the METAR. So yeah, it is. We have got a bit of rain down there. So it means showers. So light intensity showers and RA, which is rain. So low intensity showers and rain we're looking for at the moment. So we've got light showers and rain. I'm looking at the codes for the METARs now. Okay, so VTTS, which is also in the METAR, that means a thunderstorm is in the area. So not so nice, this weather. Not so nice. Other than it isn't being obviously runway just means south. It doesn't. There's a code on there saying runway 2000 plus TSRA, but TSRA isn't a phrase that's remembered. It could be something to do with thunderstorms. But anyway, either way, there are some thunderstorms in the area of Vienna Airport, so it's not looking great. We might have a bit of interesting weather. Maybe I'll actually get to see something on the weather radar of a 757 for once. Like that, but that's because I've adjusted the weather radar tilt. So it's picking up the ground, but as we get higher, that'll go away. But yeah, I'm interested in this. Oh, I think the insufficient fuel remark has gone now, so this thing has sorted out its fuel issues, which is good, I suppose. We are now well en route. Just have to watch the METAR now, because it is not good. I'll have a little look on windy.com, because they will have, you can decode the METAR, so it's a good idea to learn what it means. So it means temporarily the visibility is 2000, so it's visibility. So it means temporary visibility, and then heavy thunder, oh there you go, so plus TS, so temporary, heavy thunderstorm and rain. So really some nasty weather. So yeah, light shower and rain. Thunderstorm is in the area, so that's what I thought it meant. Temporarily, so TS is a separate code to RA, so it means heavy thunderstorm and rain. So not the nicest of weather. It was looking alright when we departed Stansted, but that latest METAR really doesn't look nice. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. Yeah, so TS means thunderstorm. So yeah, we've got not the nicest of weather there. Not the nicest of weather. It might clear up by the time we get there, I don't know. I don't know, it'll be interesting if we have to fly into a thunderstorm, won't it? Luckily it's quite warm down there, so they're not going to have to worry about icing or anything. Right, we're up to 35,000 feet now. Luckily at the moment though, visibility is still okay. Like the clouds drop off after 1,400 feet, so it's still not terrible weather in terms of cloud levels and things. And you can see now the speed is absolutely fine on there now. And there we are at cruise level. And we should be here for quite a while. I mean, we've got 630 miles left to go, so we've still got quite a bit of time left till Vienna. The plane's going to start powering down now. It'll get a bit quieter as well then. And then we'll keep an eye on the weather, I suppose. So what we need to do for now, I'll have a look at the arrival into Vienna. And what I'll do, I'll shorten it so you can see where that line is there. So there's FI34, which is one of the waypoints. So you can see what we can do, basically. We can cut out that last bit. So what we'll do, we'll go from 979 direct to 972, and that adds 5 miles on to WW971, which then is another 3 miles. So adds on 8 miles to 7DME FI34, so that's 15 miles out of the airport. That's a good approach length, so I'll happily shorten that. So we'll get after 979. Okay, so what that'll do is just shorten our flight a little bit. You can see it saved us 3 minutes worth, cut about 20 miles off our flight, but it hasn't actually done anything else. Just means we have a bit of a better time of the arrival. What I will do though is, if we're going to do that, I'm going to have to change this to above 4, we'll change it to a 5,000 or above. We are still okay with that. The minimum altitude over that is 2,800 feet. That's the minimum altitude, so 5,000 is fine. So WW... is it 979? Yeah. So the minimum altitude in that area is 2,800 feet. So that means that we're easily okay dropping down. We're still 2,000 feet above minimum altitude, which is all you need. So we'll do that, and that'll manage the descent a bit better. And then what I'm going to do as well is just see what altitude we'd be at Massa. So you can see we are still descending a bit earlier than planned with that restriction, but we have to follow that. I'm not editing that. The only reason I'm editing this is just to make a better approach to what we do in real life. And there we go. So that's sorted for arrival in Vienna. Has shortened our route by 3 minutes, so it saved us a bit of time. And it's also saved the 20 minutes or so, the 20 miles or so extra that's in brief. Didn't think we'd have to be flying. It didn't plan us flying that. There should actually be new weather through for Vienna soon. In fact, it's already through on windy.com, because they, for some reason, put up METARs earlier. So at the moment it's thunderstorms in the vicinity, and light shower, light rain. Few clouds at once, so the cloud layer has gone up a bit, and there's something on there called RETS, so another thing I need to look up what it means. I need to get better at learning these codes. So it means, apparently... Okay, so there's nothing mentioned in here. So nothing in here is actually mentioned about but anyway, for now it's looking, the weather's getting a bit better. I think the thunderstorm just passed by. Again, we're not going to be getting there for another hour and 20 minutes, so we've got plenty of time. Is it just me or is this playing a little bit loud? Honestly, turning down the sound didn't do anything. Actually, I'm being stupid. This plane doesn't have sound controlled by X-Plane. Its sound is controlled by this, which should be... That's why it's loud. In this plane, it's 3 clicks from this one. So, 1, 2, 3. That's the sound I had it on. It was on 4 clicks. That's why it sounded loud to me. Because it was 1 setting louder than it usually is. Maybe that's why I thought the sound sounded different. That's better. nice looking plane, the 757, I think. There we go, that's cool. But hopefully the weather in Vienna does get a bit nicer by the time I get down there. I think I do need to get Active Sky though, because with Active Sky you can view like the weather forecast and you can view weather charts and things. You can't do that with Explain Live Weather, so maybe we have to do that. I'm glad I decided to do this route today. I'll have to have a look at routes that we can fly with this plane. There's quite a lot. But I really want to do... I'll have a look at what days that flight. I think it's from Casablanca to Enfita, if that's how you pronounce it. I'll have a quick look. Yeah, I'm correct. So it operates on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. So maybe we'll have to do a Friday stream at some point, if I get the chance. It's 980 miles, so it would be about a 2 and a bit hour flight. Probably about 2 hours, 10 minutes. At least. Oh, my third monitor's just turned off. That's weird. That's the monitor that has my charts on it. Just turned off. It has been dodgy lately. That's interesting. There we go. Power cable has been a bit loose, that's why. There we are, we're alright. It's back on. That's a bit weird. Just turned off. Can be a bit dodgy, that monitor, every now and then. It's just an old second-hand monitor that I got for like £30. Just for the sole purpose of displaying charts. It doesn't do anything else. Don't use it for anything else. And then another bit I would like to do actually was Oslo to East Midlands. Might do that. But yeah, I really want to do the Casablanca to Enfita. I've meant to do it for a while, but they don't operate it with many planes. And then over in the US, there's plenty of routes we can do with the 7.5 as well. I was looking at Florida, which is that's Fort Lauderdale down to Providenciales. That's a cool one. Maybe we'll have to see that. Or Fort Lauderdale to Bogota, maybe. There's plenty of choice. Plenty of choice. Also, maybe some flights over to Greece, although Greece is just a bit of a longer flight, which is why I don't tend to go there from the UK. Because I like flights that are either long hauls or shorter. Like, I like a maximum of 2.5 hours, and as soon as you go over 3 hours, I like it to be 7 or 8 hours. If it's 4.5, you can't... It's quite difficult to fit in, because you don't want to have a break in the middle. Because it's only 4.5, but like, if it's 7, you have a break in the middle. Because it lasts all day. I don't know. I haven't done a longer flight for a little bit. I was doing them quite often, like every sort of 2 weeks. I was doing them on a Sunday on Vatsim, not streaming or anything. Well, I haven't done one for a while now. Let me look on Simaware on Vatsim. You can view you can view the whole Vatsim. It's kind of like VatSpy, but it keeps a bit more data. I like VatSpy though because it's a standalone application, and it's generally quite a nice application as well. It works quite well to have. And it was going a bit out of date, and then they had an update at the beginning of this year. Okay, so the last long flight I did was, yeah, quite a while. I went from Fort Lauderdale to Portland. About, actually, just over an hour away from Vienna. You can see how our reserve fuel is now back to what it should be. So we're not using reserve fuel, which is good. Little bit of a headwind right now, not too bad, and Vienna's getting a bit busier. The plane from Frankfurt still hasn't departed. But I think if it left now, it would still be there ahead of us. I just discovered you can copy a metal to the clipboard on VatSpy. It's kind of cool. I'll have a quick look at what the optimum cruise out. So this thing can apparently go up to 370, although SimBrief has noted that it planned the optimum flight level today. Don't really see any reason for that. But again, if SimBrief said it's the optimum flight level, it probably is. Also going to keep an eye on how we're doing in terms of time. So we're going to be hitting Matug about 40 minutes into the flight. And we're meant to be hitting it 38 minutes in, so we're running about 2 minutes behind on what SimBrief said of us, because SimBrief doesn't take into account altitude restrictions. So obviously we were stuck below 10,000 feet, going a bit slower for a bit longer today. flight, 492 miles, 491 to Vienna. It's quite cloudy outside. FPS is remaining pretty good. There isn't really much of a cabin to explore in this thing, sadly, so I can't do that. So, I don't know if I press C and then... Oh, yeah, just got a brief look at the cabin. There's not much to look at. But I don't think this door opens. I'll try it. The door to go into the cargo area. Oh yeah, so it must be closed, look, so you can't open it. There isn't even... Is there an unlock or lock button? Don't see one. Bit of a shame. I was also looking at Vatsim events today, and they were doing one from Dubai to Singapore. It started at like 7:30 in the morning. I mean, I don't really feel like that, honestly. Right, the plane from Frankfurt has now departed, so I think that'll be in Vienna before. The plane in Munich now has just spawned in. That'll probably end up getting to Vienna ahead of us, depending. So it's quite busy actually on Vatsim heading into Vienna. Maybe everyone's noticed it's like thunderstorm conditions and they've gone like, yeah, we'll do that. Sounds fun. I don't think they're too bad. I mean, flights in real life I think are still going on. And they're still using runway 34 at the moment for arrivals. Fuel, so look, when we departed Stansted, the fuel was 3.1 left at Stansted. No, left at Vienna. Now it's 4.8. I know we shortened the route a tiny bit, but that wouldn't have made that much difference. So something is obviously a bit bugged in the fuel calculations of this plane since the update. So interesting. Something is a bit bugged. Obviously needs fixing. Still a bit of a headwind, so if we're doing the flight the other way, I think it would have been a bit quicker. Maybe. I didn't think this flight would take 2 hours. I thought it'd be like an hour and 40 maybe. At about 700 miles. Well, it did end up being about 740 by the end. Although that shouldn't make too much of a difference. One plane I really I'm looking at the moment is the Flight Factor 787. And it still isn't. I'm looking now. I don't think there's been any more news about it, which is a bit of a shame, really, because I would really like to get it when it becomes available. Although obviously they haven't said anything at all for ages. .440 miles now. But yeah, nothing is going on with that Flight Factor 787 at the moment. But also I have got F1 2021 on a bit of a separate note. Good game. I've started Breaking Point, the new story. Maybe if you guys want me to do a video about it, I can. The game, that is. Maybe not Breaking Point specifically, but the game. You know what? I was thinking about this. I don't know whether anyone will actually answer it. There's a new feature I've noticed in YouTube, in a stream, called poll. Like, it's a poll. Alright, I'm just doing it now. I can only have 4 options, so I can't add breaking. I'll add a breaking point. Actually, I won't do breaking point as a. Anyway, ask. There we go. So the poll's gone up. I don't know how that. Maybe someone will vote. Who knows? Maybe. Anyway, that aside, I wonder if it'll put up on my phone. I don't actually know how this works, so I'm just trying it out. I'll see if I can get it on my phone. Maybe I have to refresh the stream. I'm checking now. No, okay, so it doesn't seem polls come up on phone, which is a shame. So I can see the poll is up on my. I can see that the poll's up on my computer. I've just gone onto the stream on my computer. I can see it. So it's working. It just doesn't seem to work on phone. Sadly, that's a shame. I don't know why. I've tried reloading the stream on my phone, but there's still nothing. So I suppose it doesn't support it, which is a bit of a shame. Never mind. Doesn't really matter. I'll see if someone decides to vote. Yeah, I noticed it's a new feature. I've noticed some YouTubers doing it lately, so I just thought, you know, I think other people are doing it. Let's experiment with the new feature. Right, don't know when we're going to be descending. It'll be quite a while yet still, I imagine, then. Because it's not on there. So I'm not going to go planning any arrival just yet. I'll keep an eye on the weather as it goes, because it's going to be interesting to see what's going on. Was there a plane down there? Just noticed looking at the screen, I just saw UPS 338 go flying by. Where was that then? Let's have a quick look on the map. Plane going from Milan to Cologne. Oh, it's descending into Cologne at the moment. That's why it's I couldn't see it. 380 miles to go. We should get the descent pretty soon. When we're descending, 'cause we're descending quite early, remember, because of the restriction at Massa, where we need to be below flight level 170. And then the arrival is obviously just into the airport above 6,000 feet, apart from that waypoint. I've shortened the arrival a little bit, shortened it as much as I want to shorten it to I will start planning all the arrival stuff soon. Since it notified of when the descent is, I'll probably start planning it. And the new weather for Vienna should be on, if we look at windy now, rather than... It's not up yet, so it'll be up soon. It'll be up soon. But not, because on Vatsim there was like a 20-minute delay. And I don't know why, I don't know how windy.com gets the metal way quicker than, like, basically anything else. I don't understand that. But it does somehow. I'll top the descent's on there now, so I think we're going to start prepping for the arrival. I'll just wait for the latest metal to come through and then we'll start planning for the arrival. It still isn't for half an hour though, the descent, so we've got plenty of time. No one's voted on the poll just yet. Quite cloudy again. I mean, hopefully the thunderstorms, I'll look at the latest metal whenever it comes through and hopefully discover that the thunderstorms have eased a little bit. Make life approaching Vienna airport a little bit easier. And maybe we'll get a better view of the approach and all that then. I have all my charts ready to go because I'm organised, got them all up while we're still in Stansted. So I don't need to go looking around for those.
Vatsim, terrific. Alpine 15 stand 1, pushing start.
There's the one or Unicorn. Were they like announcing that they're pushing back? Were they Alpine 15 or something? Yeah. Okay, the new weather is through, and thankfully it does seem as though the thunderstorms have cleared. It's gone back to VFR conditions down in Vienna. So 22 degrees, getting a bit warmer, few clouds at 1,500, scattered 3,000, and then a few cumulonimbus clouds at 3,000 as well, if that's how he pronounced that. Just says CB, I think that's the sort of cloud it is anyway. So, valid, and we've got visibility back up to maximum. So the weather and no significant change as well. So the weather is it's getting better. It's stopped raining, so hopefully that'll mean a bit of a nicer kind of trip into Vienna for us. So let's start planning the arrival. We're going to be doing a flaps 20 arrival because those speeds are quite low and they'll drop further by the time we get there. The ILS is 108.1. We'll just check that with the chart now. 108.1 and the course is 340. We can tune that now and it won't pop up anywhere, so we can just tune it now. And airport elevation is 600 feet, so let's set that now. Perfect. And the minimums is 208, so we'll set 210. Unless we're category D. Are we a category D aircraft? Because I actually don't know. In our remarks, yes we are. We are a category D aircraft, so 220 is actually our minimums. So that's in there, ready to go. And that's about it, really. There's not an awful lot to prep. Obviously, we looked over a lot of stuff earlier in terms of our arrival. And what we're planning to do, that weird circle bit, that's the go-around path, not the arrival route. So that's fine. So we're basically all ready for landing. Everything should be pretty much ready. We've got all the weather, everything sorted, and then actually once we're landing as well, I'll have a quick look at this. Once we're landing on runway 34, gonna vacate to the left and then taxi to. I don't see any charts that are cargo stands. If you have a look here, there's no charts that are cargo stands. So there's nothing that mentions them. So what I'm going to do instead is park at the Kilo stand, from Kilo 41 to Kilo 51, because they're all remote stands off, away from the terminal. So even though they're not marked as cargo stands, I'd imagine they're probably the most likely ones to be cargo stands. I can have a look at the airport briefing actually. So yeah, the main arrival runway is runway 34. Here at Vienna. So have a quick look through, see if there's anything about stands, like where you park. Parking information, not much about that. Not much really to look at there, nothing about what sort of stands or what. There is also a maintenance area, we could go there, but again I think that's, rather than cargo, I think that's more to do with I'm lost. More to do with like hangars and getting maintenance rather than cargo flying. So we're gonna park at the Kilo apron. No ATC down there at the moment. I know sometimes Vienna does get ATC, but not at the moment, sadly for us. We've flown 424 miles, only 314 to go, so we've got past halfway there. Past halfway. And we're well on our way to Vienna airport. I don't know what we've got in the back of the plane. All I know is it's like, was it 18? Yeah, basically 18,000 kilograms, so 18 tons, metric tons of stuff back there. So it's quite a lot of. That is 18 tons, right? So in terms of, yeah, it's 18 tons. So we've got quite a bit on board. And they also got an Imperial ton and then a US ton. Just lots of stuff. Lots of different kinds. But yeah, we're doing, so 18 tons worth of stuff back there. So not that heavy, not that much. This thing has a cargo capacity of 38,000 kilograms, so we are quite low in terms of how much we're taking. Although saying that, to get the 0 fuel weight, we did have to. I don't know. The cargo down there, the cargo area is not full, and the pallets aren't full, so we definitely could have filled it up more, I suppose. Although another 20,000 kilos, I'm not so sure. And I believe I have flown into Vienna before with Fly UK. I'm just going to do a quick check, actually, of that. I think I've flown into Vienna before. No, I haven't, actually. So there you go, new airport. I'm surprised I haven't flown into Vienna before. I just never have, I suppose. I don't know why. I don't think it's a route from Gatwick Airport, though. That's partially why. So because they don't fly there from Gatwick, I just haven't been there. Yeah, they don't fly there from Gatwick. They fly there from Heathrow in the 737 and the A320 Neo, but you can use the standard A320. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that. It's a new airport for me. Then it's kind of. I think they have been there before, but not with Fly UK. I think I flew there on a Vatsim event. Maybe. But that was another reason for going to Vienna as well. It is somewhere a little bit different with Fly UK. Another airport on the list. Because, you know, there's like a map of airports I visited. It's quite a large looking map now. There's a lot of things on it. One thing I have got to do as well is visit the new Berlin airport. I haven't done that yet. The brand new one, so maybe I should do that. Another video idea? Or stream idea? Potentially? Well, no one's voted on the poll, so I'll keep that up for another half an hour, and then I'll put it down, I think. Although, it does appear that if you're on mobile, you can't actually see the poll. Because I can't see it on my mobile. Well, that could be because I'm logged in as my account. So I can't, obviously you can't vote on your own poll. So, I don't know. Right, descending in about 19 minutes, so not too long to go now. This flight's gone pretty quickly, obviously. We are descending quite early, though, because of the restriction into Vienna Airport of being below flight level 170 at Masser. Also, in terms of planes for X-Plane, obviously I basically got most of the planes I want now. But I was wondering as well, like, I know the Concorde is ridiculous to fly, pretty difficult to fly. But would it be interesting, do you think, to fly that? Maybe it's worth a go? I don't know. And then also, I am watching the 787 Magnite. I've been watching that develop a little bit, like every now and then they do an update. I'm interested if it can get some better VNAV, although the VNAV is getting better, and if it can start to look a bit nicer, then maybe I'd be tempted by it. Although sadly they don't do a 787-8 or -10, they only do the -9, which means you're limited when it comes to Fly UK with some of the routes that you can do, which is a little bit disappointing. And then obviously there is some of the classic planes as well, like the 727. I was kind of looking at that. There's a lot of cool planes that X-Plane has, like classic planes. I was definitely interested in the Beluga as well, the A300. I think they've just announced an A310 as well. All interesting. Right, no ATC in Vienna at the moment, so I think we won't have any ATC the whole time now, I don't think. It's quite busy down there. The plane to Munich is going to be there just ahead of us, actually. The plane from Munich, I mean. So I'm interested in how that works. I don't know what arrival they're taking. They're going via Massa, so same arrival as ours. Same arrival route. And the plane from Heathrow's arriving there now as well. There's our top of descent look on there. So it's closing in. About 7 minutes away now. ETA there, 10:24 Zulu, so not too long, about 39 minutes. So flight time on the end should be about an hour and 55-ish, which is what was planned initially. Right, I'm just going to set the altitude here to 6,000, which is our kind of initial descent altitude for Vienna. Ready for the descent, because this thing will then descend automatically into Vienna. Or should descend automatically into Vienna anyway. Hopefully. Have a quick look at maintenance reports. Obviously we did fix the plane before departing, so it should all be running smoothly. Also, it reminded me updating this plane, I need to update my other X-Plane aircraft as well, so I'll do that at some point. Because I think the A320 got updated, and so did the 767, so I need to, you know, it was more like a month ago now. So I can't remember now whether the VNAV that was working was on the 747 SSG or whether it was on the Magnite 787. I have definitely also been looking at the SSG 747. I know a lot of people don't like SSG. I'm not 100% familiar with why. I just know that I think they had like FPS issues and the developers were a little bit not so nice to people. I don't remember. I don't know. I just have that kind of, but I haven't had an experience of them, so I'm not really going to say anything. But the plane does look pretty good. I mean, the textures are a bit dodgy, I think. That's what I kind of want fixed. But the rest of the plane does look pretty good. They're on version 2.3.1 now, and they're updating it fairly regularly. Actually, no, because version 2.2 was in October, and then 2.3's just come now. So they don't update it that regularly, but they do update it. I've also been looking at the toeless aircraft. Because that's always something to look at. The thing is, I'm not going to get the toeless aircraft because it's very expensive for just an A321 or just an A319. But those two aren't used in Fly UK or around the world nearly as much as the A320 is. so I can't get as much use out of it. Right, get ready to descend, everyone, into Vienna. New weather for Vienna should be out pretty soon. Hopefully the thunderstorms will have stayed away. And the 9:20 Zulu weather, which is from half an hour ago now, still hasn't come out on Vatsim. So I'm glad I grabbed it off windy.com because it's not, for some reason, not popping up on here. And we're definitely going to be announcing stuff on the Unicom, so I'm going to pre-time out my message now. So there, I'll put that all in now. So I've pre-typed out the message I'm going to send on Unicom. I'll send that when we start descending. So not just yet. Still got 10 more miles up here at cruise and then we'll be beginning our descent. I'm going to put this down to 40 nautical mile range now, because we're going to get a waypoints popping up soon. And then, yeah, hopefully the new weather for Vienna should be out in about 5 to 10 minutes. And we should be able to then see the new weather's finally popped up on from half an hour ago on Vatsim. But I will be able to see what's going on in terms of thinking. I'll be able to see what's going on in terms of weather down there, whether the thunderstorms and the rain that were quite bad earlier have started to ease off. I think they have. The 920 Zulu Metal was showing that. Obviously the 950 one isn't out yet, so I don't know. Okay, so we're going to start our descent pretty much now. You can see there, the plane's going to start slowing down because it slows down to about Mach decimal 7.4 for descent. I don't really know why it does that, it just does. And then it's going to start descending. 170 miles still to go, though, remember. So we've still got quite a way to go. Send a message on Unicom. And then the plane goes. Right, I'm going to leave the poll up to the end of the stream. At the moment, nobody's voted on it. Again, if you're on phone, it may not pop up. I'm not so sure about that. You can see that the plane is now descending nicely. Again, it descends quite slowly, this plane. It's quite cloudy at the moment where we are. I'm going to put the weather radar over to 0 now, so we don't start seeing bits of terrain popping up on the weather radar as we descend below 30,000 feet. Oh, in fact, someone has now voted on that, so saying driver career mode. So maybe we should do a little bit of a starter driver career mode as a video. Whether it'll be a series or not, I don't really know, but maybe a good idea to introduce you guys to the game. I haven't done a driver career for a while, so see if there's any more votes later on. But thank you to whoever it was who did vote. It shows that the feature works as well, which is good. Brand new feature on this on YouTube, it seems. I haven't noticed it before anyway. I did a stream 2 weeks ago, so it must be pretty new. I'll try and do one vote every stream. Engage the audience. Anyway. Once we hit below flight level 170 at Massa, I think this thing will suddenly, like, properly slow down its descent. In terms of arrivals into Vienna, it's 4 planes on the ground there right now. And there's, that's it. So there's a plane heading in from Munich just ahead of me. And then, also, we'll have to wait and see whether if it shortens its arrival, that plane, then I can shorten it too. If it doesn't shorten its arrival, I might risk getting too close to it, so I'll have to watch what it does by the time we get to our arrival. This thing's obviously descending very slowly at the moment, just because that's how this plane does. It's descending. I mean, at the moment we're doing 410 knots ground speed, so we haven't slowed down that much on what we were doing at cruise. I'm checking the weather just to see if there's anything new. Okay, the new weather is out. And it's exactly the same pretty much as the old weather. However, the wind has increased to 310 at 11 knots. So a tiny bit of a crosswind, but not that much. It's looking pretty good for us. There's our new landing speed, 138 knots. So yeah, flaps 20 arrival today. Because the landing speed in the 757 is generally quite low. You can see all the stuff for the arrival is plugged in down there. What I'm going to do now, actually, because we're going to be at this heading for ages, so I'm going to set the heading. It should be about 9-1 heading it'll be at. Well, it will depend on the wind. See, there's Massa there. We're just going through tons of waypoints now on this arrival, where we need to be above 6,000 feet along this whole thing. You can see quite cloudy in the area, but there's actually a little bit of clear sky just ahead. It's not looking too bad. Clouds are now actually up to scattered at 3,000. That layer of a few clouds at 1,500 is gone now. Good visibility, so the weather is back to being very nice. Few cumulonimbus clouds at 3,000. Is that even how you pronounce it? I'm not even sure. I'm going to look it up now. So how do you spell it? Yeah, cumulonimbus. No, that's C. Yeah, cumulonimbus. Cumulonimbus. Yeah, so that's, I was pronouncing it roughly right. Roughly. I just looked it up. Also, the stream has started buffering on... Okay, it's okay on my end. It's obviously the YouTube stream playback thing. There you go, it's working again now. I'll just refresh it. And then it'll go back to being okay, hopefully. There we go, we're all good. It's just being a bit weird that the playback on YouTube streaming thing. One thing I haven't checked actually is the transition altitude into Vienna. It's 10,000 feet, so make sure that's in here is cool. QNH is 1014, so basically standard pressure, very close to it anyway. Only 3 planes on the ground in Vienna right now, so not too much. Also, if you want to join the stream and you haven't yet voted, then there is a vote. Again, if you're on phone, maybe it won't show up, but about an F1 2021 video, maybe that'd be a good idea to vote on that. And I hope you are enjoying the stream, anybody that happens to be popping in. See, it's actually very clear now, not much in the way of clouds at all, so that's quite nice. Obviously I did see the weather was improving, so that's cool. Still 116 miles from Vienna, so still got quite a way left to go actually, because obviously that's how this weird arrival's gone, really. And that's it's a CRJ ahead of us, currently at 13,000 feet now. It's a Lufthansa City Line aircraft. Feels like it's going really slowly now. We are down to just 350 knots. This is the problem with having to descend so much by this point. Well, we were meant to be at flight level 260 anyway, so we were meant to have started descending by now anyway. We're due in 20 minutes time. That's when we're going to be touching down. We're off the blocks 11 minutes early today. It was meant to be a block time of, I think it was 2 hours, this flight. Yeah, block time of 2 hours it was meant to be. Might be slightly more than that. It definitely will be slightly more than that, in fact. Right, we're now under 17,000 feet almost. Well, very close. You can see this plane's going to be doing it like absolutely last minute. In fact, it might not actually manage it. It looks quite tight, that does. To be under 17, flight level 170. I know it doesn't really matter 100%. We are roughly there. Actually, it's okay. This plane will skip the waypoint a little bit early, but that's fine as well. You can see no cloud in the area at all though, so considering there were apparently thunderstorms here earlier, the weather has cleared up quite a lot. Obviously, I wasn't in Vienna in person, or in the sim, so I don't know how accurate those thunderstorms were. Is this thing just going to sit at 17,000 feet for a bit now? Is that seriously what it's going to do? Okay, I guess that's what the plane wants to do. It's probably how early we are. It just would rather wait. I don't know when we're going to start our descent next then. I guess the plane's figured out that it's easier to do that than to keep descending. It doesn't say we have to have a continuous descent on the arrival, so that's fine. Have a look at all the different arrival charts here. Okay, so the plane is just holding itself at flight level 170 for a bit. I guess that's what the plane has figured out is best to do. $88 miles to go. So still quite a while to go, that's the thing, that's why it's doing this. I've been reading the charts, it does say expect vectors while on the downwind leg of the transition, which is obviously why I've shortened the transition a little bit, was to simulate those vectors that it discusses. Now, I could cut it short another 10 miles to help. I could do that. But that would only put us... It would put us 10 miles out on final. That's enough, isn't it? 10 miles out is plenty. So we could shorten it some more. So I will do that now, I think. Just to save us a little bit more time. So I'll go 971. Like that. And it goes 981 to 971. Yeah, we'll do that. And that should mean... the plane might want to descend now. And I'll delete the altitude restriction at WW981. It's okay as long as we stay above 4,000 feet in that area. And I'll keep an eye on what the Hansa line is doing, and I'll probably vector myself in. And we're going to set 5,000 or above, just to make sure we can stay, because now it's gone back to VFR conditions. We only have to stay 1,000 feet, I believe, above minimum altitude, which is 5,000 feet in that area, because that area just falls within the boundary of the 4,000 feet minimum altitude zone. But obviously it was special VFR conditions earlier, now it's just VFR, because the thunderstorm has cleared up. So but it has shortened our flight a little bit, because that Hansa line is quite a long way ahead of us. So, and in fact they've just disconnected, I don't know why. Our plane is also just randomly connected on short final, so I don't quite know what's going on there with either case. But there we go. This plane's doing quite a slow descent at the moment. That's kind of to be expected, isn't it? There you go, it's starting a proper descent now. But yeah, so that, I don't know what's happened to that. I don't know whether they had a simulator crash, maybe. Feel sorry for them if they did. Luckily it was only a short flight, I suppose, for them. It's always annoying when your game crashes. I mean, touch wood, I don't think X-Plane has ever crashed on me, other than loading in. Although I know some people have massive issues with X-Plane crashing. I think for me it's because I don't use that much in the way of mods. I'm going to set that to +2 now. Actually, no, it should be fine. That's not terrain-related weather. So that's the first time I've ever seen weather on a weather radar of this thing. It's gone now because I adjusted the thing. I'll put it back to 0. Okay, so there is a bit of weather in the area. That's probably left over from the thunderstorm earlier, I should think. Oh, it's gone now anyway. Right, I'll adjust this back to 20 nautical mile range now. That weather will move now, I've done that anyway. And one of the planes has just left Vienna, so Vienna's quite quiet now. Actually. And the transition altitude is 10,000 feet, so we'll adjust the altitude passing that. It'll only add probably about 50 feet on, because the QNH is 1014 here. Still 55 miles to go, so still a bit of a way to go. We'll begin to slow the plane down for below 250 knots pretty soon. Again, I don't know what happened to that plane that was approaching from Munich. The only guess is a simulator crash. Although it does leave the airport pretty much open for us now, so we are open to take that shortcut that I wanted to take. About to head through a little bit of weather, a little bit of cloud, so there is a bit of cloud surrounding the airport. As I first thought, it's positive temperature outside, so that's fine, because there might be rain in these clouds, but it seems okay, because that's what the radar picks up. It doesn't pick up clouds, it picks up rain. And I don't believe it picks up snow. I don't think it doesn't pick up ice. I think it only picks up water that's liquid, and maybe it picks up ice but only up to a certain density or amount. I don't totally know how it works. Obviously it's going to get a bit laggy here as we go through the cloud. That's to be expected, because this yeah, no flight sim seems to be able to handle clouds for some reason. Right, I'm going to go ahead and we'll turn the landing lights on as we get close to 10,000. Usually between 10,000 and 11,000 is when you turn it on. We're going to start to slow the plane now as well. So the plane will just idle and then it will start to slow down automatically because of the fact that we're barely descending at the moment. And landing lights can come on, ready for landing. And that plane from Frankfurt has just touched down, because it was the one that connected last minute. MD-80 is departing to Lisbon, and there's 3 planes on the ground now, but 2 of them have landed, only 1 departing, and the one that is departing hasn't found a flight plan, so I don't imagine they're going to be departing anytime soon. Also, as well, departures are using a separate runway, actually. Also, before I forget, I haven't actually set my auto brakes yet, so we'll set that to auto brakes 2. It's a 12,000 foot runway, and the further we go along the runway, the less we have to taxi. So I think we're not going to focus too much on that. Got a bit of weather in the area there, you can see. Keep our eye on that. Again, obviously there were thunderstorms here earlier, so the weather is likely not the best. Going to deploy a bit of speed brakes because the plane hasn't quite slowed down enough below 10,000 by itself, so I'm going to take over, which I've just done. And we've slowed down enough now. And I'm going to set this to the ILS altitude of 3,000 feet. And our going altitude is 5,000, so climb straight ahead to DME 9.8 of FMD and then turn right. So that's what we need to do. We need to tune 110.4, which you can see has actually automatically been tuned in there, so that's fine. So that means we know how far it is to that particular VOR there. And the ground altitude is 5,000, so we'll set that once we've got set on the approach. And we'll set the landing QNH, should have already done that, although it doesn't really matter because it's literally like 20 feet, 30 feet difference. And I guess seatbelts can come on now. Or again, what they actually do. Oh wow, I've never heard that before. I thought that was someone like shouting on Vatsim Unicom. That surprised me. So we are actually in the middle of a thunderstorm, even though the weather said that there were no more thunderstorms. Bit weird. Although there's no rain, it doesn't seem like. FPS is getting a bit low though, with all these clouds in the area. Let's look away from the clouds to help the FPS. There we go, right. FPS has improved now, because we've got further away from the clouds again. We'll be making that right turn onto final soon, so I'm going to set the course of the final approach into the heading bug of 340. No one else is on approach, so we're all good. Let's take a shortcut. Right, that can get a +2 now to make sure we don't start picking up terrain on the weather radar, which we don't want. Obviously. And then we're going to be making a right turn, quite a sharp right turn, all the way around. We're going to slow it down a little bit actually to 230 knots. To help it along, I'm going to go ahead and go flaps 1. Don't know why that's saying overspeed. We're below 240 knots, which is the limit for flaps 1, so it shouldn't be saying overspeed. We should be fine. Although somehow the plane is... Why is the plane speeding up? That's a little bit weird. Let's deploy the speed brake to help with that. Really, deploying the flaps should have slowed it down. Maybe it's turbulence. I know there's obviously a little bit of weather in the area, so it could be turbulence related. Right, I'm going to go ahead and arm the speed brakes now. Oh. That's the wrong button. So speed brakes are armed. There, and ready for landing. I'll report on voice Unicom that we are ready to intercept the ILS. Drop it to 220 knots, can't go flaps 5 just yet anyway. So this thing's not going to be able to slow down just yet. Then going through the clouds into Vienna Airport. Now we might have some issues with, I don't know, those look a bit like rain clouds, although obviously it shouldn't be raining according to the weather. Although quite thick cloud there, you can see our plane disappearing into the cloud when we go into free camera. And then we're going to start our right turn now towards the airport. Vienna traffic, Skyway 7014, turning to final ILS runway 34, will report established. Vienna traffic. So, once we're kind of alongside this, I'm going to go ahead and arm the approach. This thing should now start to slow down. Yeah, it is. I need to slow it down a lot more, actually. So we'll go 180 knots. I'm going to have to use the speed brakes a little bit to help us along, although the speed brakes don't appear to be doing anything. I'll go flaps 1, which we already had done. There goes. So you can see we've now leveled off. This thing's going to start slowing down some more. We'll go flaps 5. Just to help us slow down. And then we're going to go approach mode now. I believe we are actually below our glide path a little bit, thanks to the speed. We'll go flaps 15 in gear down, just to help us slow down some more. And that will help us get back on track with our descent, although... And then we'll get rid of the speed brake, arm it, and this thing can now do quite a quick descent. We're on the localizer.
Caution, terrain.
I don't know what that's on about.
Caution,
Calm down. It's because this thing was doing a quick descent, so it got cross. It's okay. Right. That's now stuck the terrain radar on. It's all fine. I don't know what it was on about. It's because we're doing a bit of a quick descent there. Vienna traffic, Skyway 7014, established on the ILS for 34. After vacating the runway, we'll taxi to the Kilo ramp. Okay, ready for landing. The speed is 138 on arrival, and we'll add 5 to that, as you always do for wind. 143 knots, and we'll go flaps 20. And that is us, ready for arrival. As soon as we can see the runway, I'll take control of the plane. There it is. In fact, there is the runway. You can see there is some of the planes, 2 of the planes. There's only 2 planes left now on the ground in Vienna Airport. And so I think I take control of the speed in this thing as well on landing. So I'll do that too. And winds are gusting around a tiny bit, I can feel. Need to keep descending as well. Right, everything's all ready then. So speed brakes are armed, running lights. Flaps set to 20 and speed is down correctly. All we need to do actually is set the go on altitude, which I haven't done. So we'll do that. And then we need to help the plane descend then. We'll pull back the power a little bit. This thing's going a little bit off centre because of the wind blowing, as the wind is changing direction quite a lot, as you can see by the plane being blown around a bit. So we'll try and get back on course. Use the rudder a little bit. This plane does not want to turn. We'll use a bit more power now because we're slowing down a bit there to help descend. Try and turn the plane back on course. We've got it, I think. Just because this wind is changing direction all the time. But we're good. We're making it. We just need to be careful with this wind. It could blow us off course last minute. Like that. I mean, look at the wind down there. It's turned to a crosswind now. It's because it's variable wind. I did see that on the meta. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the level of power we have set. Just this wind is interesting. Use a little bit of rudder.
Minimums.
Continue. Okay, we're good now. I'm happy with that.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Try and get it on the centre line a bit more. There we go. This is out. Not quite on the centre line, although we've kept it on the centre line after landing, which is what matters, I suppose. 80 knots. Versus retracted. Minus 173. That was a good landing, actually, then. And we probably could have just vacated there. Never mind. We'll vacate next one. And retract the flaps. Vienna traffic. Skyway 7014. Vacated on Bravo 5. Taxi to the Kilo stands. Vienna traffic. There we go. Hello and welcome everyone to Vienna. Let's go ahead and stop the clock there. And retract the speed brakes and disarm the auto brakes. APU can come on and the line lights off. There we go. Hello and welcome everyone to Vienna. Pretty good landing in those conditions. Minus 170, that's really good. I'm getting better at landings at the moment. We're going to go on to this next one here, and that takes us all the way down to the Kilo ramp, which I assume is used for cargo. I'm not totally sure. Turn the APU gen on for when the APU fires up. But yeah, I mean, we took a small shortcut and we were still 2 minutes longer than SimBrief said we would be, but that's not too, although obviously it's because it doesn't take into account altitude restrictions, that's probably why. And we're on APU power now, so just heard that APU go. And there we are. Home welcome everyone to Vienna. The weather's not too bad. A couple of planes on the ground. One departing, one has landed. Austrian 601 is the one departing, although it hasn't yet filed a flight plan. It's just been sitting there on the ground for quite a while now, actually. It's been online for an hour and 40 minutes. So I don't know what's going on there exactly. Got the IRS nav only message. It's fine. Then we just head all the way down here to the end, and then we'll park up over there. I'm assuming that's the cargo ramp again. Nothing mentioned at all, so that's what I'm going to take. They look like cargo stands. They're remote stands, I think. They're just general remote stands, which is generally where you park cargo flights, because they don't need a jet bridge, or they don't need to be near a terminal, because there's no passengers coming off of them. Apart from the pilot, I guess. Yeah, it's been a pretty good stream, that. Someone voting on the thing, so maybe we'll do a video on F1 then. Going over the game and kind of looking at it. It's a pretty cool game. I've played a load of Breaking Point. Right, let's go ahead and turn off our... Get rid of the weather radar and TCAS. There we go. And I think this is correctly, I've identified it as a cargo ramp because there's cargo everywhere. Maybe that's I don't know why there's police cars. Also, they're American police cars and we're in Austria, so I don't know what's going on there. Bit of a weird thing from X-Plane. But yeah, I think they have correctly identified this as the cargo ramp, even though it never said it was. Because this is definitely cargo-related things here. I'm going to taxi into stand Kilo 47. It might just be marked as 47. No, it is marked as Kilo. I do really like this is default scenery, you know. This is one of the biggest things X-Plane has. This scenery, you're able to navigate yourself around it really well, which you can't in FSX or Microsoft Flight Sim. The default scenery in Microsoft Flight Sim is pretty terrible, actually. Quite often it's wrong altogether. In X-Plane, however, it is maintained by the community, which is what I also like. One of the big benefits of X-Plane. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what's going on over there. It's like a government plane or something. I really don't know. I don't know why there are American police cars around it, or just ignore it. It's a bit of scenery. Then you'll park on that line, and parking brake set, idle the power, and engines off. Bring this up, stairs and chocks, and we can release parking brake. GPU, don't need the fuel truck actually. Loader, unit, and the LSU. I think we need both of them, don't we? And there we go, that is good. So what we can go ahead and do is turn off the hydraulics, don't need those. Don't need the engine gens, don't need fuel pumps. External power on, APU off. Packs can come off. And I think we can go ahead and open the doors. And we're able to unload the plane then, I think. Yep, unloading the plane. Cool. So that does work. I wasn't sure if that worked. So there you go. Plane's being unloaded. Everything's all finished with. Everything being turned off. 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 And there we are. That is everything all finished with here on this plane. Position light will keep on. Beacon light can come off. Reset the clock, and there we go. That is a flight done in the 757. Enjoyed that. It's a lovely plane to fly, this. Really lovely. And stop recording on Fly UK. Block time in the end was 2 hours and 9 minutes. Flight time 1 hour and 56. So not bad. And we'll go ahead, disconnect ourselves from Vatsim. And there we go. That was it. That is it. All done. Pretty good little flight that. Just have a look at the outdoors view. I think everything's... Okay, things are still being unloaded. That was a rather fun flight, that. I have to fly the 757 more often. It is a lovely plane, and accompanied with some slightly interesting weather here in Vienna, although the weather is actually considerably normal compared to what it was earlier on. Definitely. Looking at the weather earlier, it was quite nasty. But at the moment, it is quite nice. VFR conditions, a little bit of cloud, and 22 degrees, so quite warm as well. So there we are. All finished. And also, I'm actually getting quite close now to my top rank in Fly UK, the ATP Captain. I'm currently an ATP First Officer, which I've had for a while, because you have to get from 250 up to 500 hours to attain it. I'm only 19 hours and 42 minutes off that, so hopefully I can achieve it in the next couple of months, next 2 months maybe. It'd be nice to get that. And of course, new airport flown into for Fly UK today, as, you know, flying into Vienna. I'm having a little look now at places we haven't been yet as a Fly UK pilot, and I would like to try and tick off a few more of those. So maybe I'll have to have a look at some of them, like who knows, a little definitely Nantes. I haven't been Nantes. I'm not going to say that. I'm not trying. I think it's Nantes. I did look this up. I looked this up. Nantes. Oh yeah, Nantes. That's how it is. Nantes. I've remembered now. I want to see if they go to Lisbon. They do, because I haven't been to Lisbon with Fly UK either. Go there maybe. Fly there with a 737. So maybe take a trip there from Heathrow at some point. You know, because I've kind of realised, you know, now they've added in this map of where we've been. I'm kind of like, well, hang on a minute. I haven't been to these places, because I really feel like I have been there. So we need to go there. Maybe Prague is another one we need to go to. Plenty of places, and then obviously out in the US as well. As always, a couple more places with the MD-80 I want to go exploring. Because that MD-80 is a lovely plane. I'm definitely going to do a video or something at some point. We're going to leave the plane. I'm not going to bother going cold and dark fully. You know what, we will. Why not? I like putting a plane back into cold and dark. We start cold and dark, so why not finish cold and dark? So, standby power and battery disconnected. External power off. For some reason, you switch the no smoking signs off. I don't quite know why. But that's that they're off. The way I set something up cold and dark is basically as you load it in cold and dark, because that must be cold and dark, right? Now, because it's a cargo aircraft, we can just leave it open. We're not near a terminal, so we can just leave it open, just without any of the other stuff. And there we are. That is everything all finished with. Let's go ahead and leave the plane now. Alright, so it's all finished. Hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Hope to see you next time, and bye-bye.